Kia ora team, this is your instructional video as requested by you on how to properly iron your CWD uniform. So we start off with our iron that is going to be on a medium heat. So if you've got 1 dot, 2 dot, 3 dots, that's the 2 dots, or a low wall setting. You're also going to use some spray starch. You can get this from New World and it helps your uniform stay crisp and sharp. We're going to start off with the collar, lay it flat out on the ironing board like this. Okay, and then you're going to fold it in half lengthways so that this top edge of the collar comes down and meets the seam at the bottom. So in half lengthways, I'm just going to use this once to show you guys how it works. Spray it along and put that over there. Now get your iron, some steam, press that crease in. Okay, don't be shy on the steam. As long as your iron is the correct temperature, you won't burn it. Okay, if the starch leaves behind some marks, they come off just by rubbing it with your finger. Right, and that leaves a nice crease all the way along the length of your collar. Next, you're going to lay your shirt flat on the ironing board like this. And what you want to do is move the collar with your fingers until you get a nice 45-degree angle on both of these sides. Okay, this has already been ironed, so it's already in there, but you may have to move it around until it looks right. Okay, a nice 45-degree angle. Okay, then what you're going to do, get your iron, come in here and just lightly press those creases in. With steam. Okay, there's still a bit of fluff there from the starch, that's fine, just brush it off. Okay, other side as well. Avoid these Velcro tabs because if you put your iron over them, you will melt them. And the same goes for the zippers. Just get in there with the nose of your iron in the tricky spots. And now you can see that your collar is sitting in a nice 45-degree angle and there's a permanent crease in there. Cool. Next, you're going to get your collar and lay it on the end of the ironing board like this, with the end of the ironing board through the shoulder. What you're going to do now is firm in that crease that you've just made. Just get the iron and really press it in, and this will help your collar to sit flat as it's meant to. Then what you're going to do is the same thing but with the other side of the collar. Okay, and again, careful, just use the nose of the iron not to burn those Velcro tabs. Now, your collar should be sitting correctly, and if you try it on, you will see how it sits. This is how your collar should look. Notice how it's sitting flat, and there's a 45-degree angle on both of these sides, and there's a single crease that runs all the way around. You can see it clearly on both sides of the collar. Next, we're going to move on to the bulk of the shirt. So this is the first side. Just get your iron and come across it, smoothing it out with your hand first, getting all of the wrinkles out of it so you're not ironing creases into it. So just iron this flat, nothing fancy. Okay, if it leaves a little bit of a mark like we've got here, just let your finger and you can wipe it off. Now as we come to this next bit, there's zips under here, so just go over them quite lightly with your iron, because if you press too hard, it will leave an impression of the zip on the fabric and we'll be able to see it. As you come up higher, you just want to get the nose of your iron and avoid ironing over the top of that patch there, or any patch for that matter. Cool, drag it across to the back, lay it flat on the ironing board, smooth out the wrinkles. Back's really easy, iron flat, no creases. Now I'm doing this quite quickly to keep this video short, but spend some time on this, make sure you get all the creases out properly. And the last side is the same as the first side. We're going to move on to the sleeve. Okay, so get your sleeve sitting flat like this, and you're going to iron one crease along the top, along the center of the sleeve, and the rest is going to be flat. Okay, so smooth out your wrinkles with your hand as you go, and iron the bulk of the sleeve first. Okay, now get that crease sitting flat along the ironing board, and make sure it's flat by running your finger along it before you touch it with the iron. That'll help avoid train tracks. Get some steam in there. Steam's really good for helping put in creases and getting them out should you have to. Same thing here, make sure that crease is along the same line. Get in here with the nose of your iron. Make make sure you avoid that Velcro patch. Okay. Notice with my patch, the crease runs through the center of the Velcro. Your shirt may not come like this, okay? So you may have to move the crease, okay? But move the crease up here so that it runs through the center of your patch and down to the end of your sleeve. Now, these patches have to be flat. There can't be a crease going through them. If you want to flatten out your patch, you think it's too round or it's getting bent, what you do is lay the patch flat on the ironing board with some fabric on the other side. Okay, you can feel the outline of it there. You can get your nose of the iron and just go lightly over the back of the patch. Okay, this will help flatten it out. Notice how I'm not going over this end here with the tip of my iron, because that would create a crease that I don't want. Now if I pull the patch back, you can see that it's sitting nice and flat, but there's still a crease in that sleeve. And rinse and repeat on the other sleeve. Awesome. Now that is your shirt. Now we're going to move on to the pants. The pants are nice and easy to iron. Lay them flat on your ironing board like this, and just iron them flat. No creases, just flat pants. Notice how as I'm coming down, I'm avoiding the edges. If I was to run my iron over the top of those edges, then I would be putting a crease in. And that's not what we want. Again, as you get to the end, just avoid putting your iron over that Velcro at the end, because you'll melt it. Flip your pants over. Do the same thing on the other side to ensure that you get all of the material and all of the creases out. Now again, if there happens to have a mark show up, there's nothing here. But if there is, it's just from your iron, don't sweat. Lick your thumb and wipe it off. Cool, you're going to do exactly the same thing on that other pant leg. Cool, now what we're going to do is slide the pants over the end of the ironing board so that you're getting the top of the pants like this. Okay, this looks flat, but there is a pocket in here. So make sure you stick your hand in and the pocket is laying flat before you put your iron on there. You can also feel that the pocket's flat under there. Run your iron over it, get all the wrinkles out. Moving along, same thing, there's a pocket under here. Make sure you get your hand in there and smooth that pocket out before you put your iron on it. Don't be shy with the steam. Coming over to the back, same thing. There's no pocket on this side. And there's a cargo pocket here. Okay, don't be shy of the cargo pocket, iron over the top of it. But when it comes to the top of the pocket, there is Velcro under here, so just lightly on the top. Get in between the belt loops, and that is your pants done. That completes the CWD video. Now this is with sleeves down. I have a separate video on how to iron up your sleeves on the shirt.